Picture an event where you felt really embarrassed about something you did. You felt like you were the fool in the crowd.
Feeling the momentum shift.
You feel like everyone is watching you and judging you. You felt like your life there and then was over as you loathed in your embarrassment. This is called the Protagonist Syndrome. Where you feel that you are the main character in this world. Everyone else is a sub-character and all eyes are on you. It's completely natural to feel this way because we are all selfish creatures in nature. We are selfish so that we can protect ourselves, so we can find our own food, etc. And this results in us feeling like the world revolves around us. But in reality, our world doesn't revolve around us. We are not the main characters of this story. We are all specks of dust in this universe, and our life is no more significant than the stranger over there because they live just as full and unique lives as we do. Now, let's go back to that embarrassing moment once again. If you thought that everyone around you looked at you and judged you for the idiot that you were, sure, for the 1 second maybe, but generally people don't give you as much attention as you think they do. People are a lot more sucked into their own problems and their own thoughts that they don't really have that much attention to give to you. They have their own issues to deal with. 90% of the people that you thought would, judge you didn't even budge. As mentioned, Protagonist Syndrome is a bit of a survival mechanism for us. We are inherently selfish whether we want to accept it or not, and it's for good reason. Only I know what my peculiar preferences are, only I know what I really want to do in my career, and only I know what's best for me. So I'll do whatever it takes for medicine interviews, even if it means taking over another candidate's seat. Why did I say medicine? I hate bio. Protagonist Syndrome in some way helps you achieve your goals. It makes you feel entitled to some extent and gives you the confidence to push on and get what you want. But there is a catch to this. As the Protagonist Syndrome gives you the confidence and makes you feel entitled to push you on, it also puts you in a state of vulnerability. You see, as you are the main character, you feel that there are a lot more eyes looking at you and judging you. And this can and will inhibit your performance. But there is a workaround to this, and I learned that during my basic military training when I was platoon IC. Essentially, when my duty began, I had this immense sense of fear that I would mess up in front of all my platoon mates. So like, what if I said the commands incorrectly? What if I accounted strength wrongly and stuff like that? See, I had this fear that the platoon IC had to do everything correctly because he was responsible. So when we were drawing our ammo, our blank ammo for one of our practice sessions, I accidentally ripped open the box and I threw the ammo into the air and everything fell into the mud beside me. I was very embarrassed. I stopped to look around to see if anyone else was looking at me and judging me. No one. Everyone was busy trying to open their own ammo boxes and getting all the ammo inside the magazine that no one really had the time to go and give a shit about the guy who just dropped all his ammo on the mud. Everyone was worried about their own problems and their own issues, and I realized that not everyone cares. People have their own shit to deal with, and you don't really have to assume that everyone cares that you had a mistake. They don't really have the time to care about other people's problems unless it's really significant. The moment you understand this, life becomes a lot more easier because you don't have to go through the mentality that people actually give a lot of shits about you. They have their own issues. You go deal with yours. The Protagonist Syndrome also makes people feel entitled, a bit too entitled for some people's liking. When someone is entitled, they feel like they need more attention about something than others. They feel like they have a spotlight above their head, and a lot of their energy goes into making themselves feel that they are confident about something they aren't, or feeling absolutely miserable about a certain event. I'm sure you've come across this fella before who's always expounding on his next business venture but never seems to crack on with it. And on the other hand, there's this fella who's quite quiet and she's making bank with her business. Entitled people try to make everyone think that they're the best at something so that they can get special treatment, or they try to make everyone think that they have it much worse than everybody to get special treatment in the form of pity. The rare people who become truly exceptional become exceptional not because that they think that they are special, but because that they are not. They feel that they are average, which is why they are constantly improving. They are obsessed with improvement and self-development. We often hear the phrase, put yourself in someone else's shoes to try and understand them. But can you really? If you try and do it to find out how you look from someone else's perspective, you realize that their perspective is completely different from yours. You are incapable of understanding how they think about you because You are not them. And because of this, we tend to overestimate what someone else's reaction towards us really is. We exaggerate their thoughts based on our irrational decisions about how they think about us. The solution to this is quite simple. Because we don't understand how we look like from their perspective, what we can do is simply ignore. The fear of what someone else thinks of you is irrelevant because they don't know who you are, so their opinion doesn't matter. Period. Point to note here is that it's important to not give a shit about others when you are trying to work towards something. To do so, you need to stop giving a shit about things that you think are embarrassing. Let's say I was walking in the middle of Orchard Road and I dropped my donut. The first thing I would do is forgive myself because quite frankly it's not that big of a deal, and then I would laugh it off. There's a great quote: if you can laugh at yourself, then no one else can laugh at you. Then let's suppose you're trying to open a new blog or a new business per se, and you are scared of what other people might think. The first thing you want to do is to try and undermine what you are doing. Sure, for you, whatever you're doing is completely significant and valuable to you, but to the world you're putting it out to, I don't think anyone really cares at the moment. Sure, your mom or your 5 friends might say, well done, maybe the font could do some work, but to the world that you're putting it out to, I don't think anyone would care that James from Singapore has a new blog about pastries. You see, if you want to start something, I'm sure you have ideas about it becoming bigger in the future and stuff, but the point where you're starting out, there's nothing that has been refined yet. It's still a raw entity. You haven't had enough refinement to it for it to blossom truly. The people you see out there that are actually successful have been crafting whatever they're doing for more than 5 years, for more than 10 years. You didn't know about Elon Musk when he was in his one-room apartment trying to make PayPal a success. You only know him after decades later when Tesla, SpaceX and his other companies became a real thing.
Coco, but you tell me so much about Protagonist Syndrome, how to don't have.
I feel if anything there needs to be a balance. You need to have and don't have Protagonist Syndrome at the same time. If you are more of the garang type and is in the zone of Hausa culture and everything, Protagonist Syndrome then can make you feel like you are the boss and give you the extra confidence to push you and go and make you do your thing. But if you're not like that, which I assume is most of us, then we have to go a little more low-key. By understanding that you are not the center of attention and that not everyone gives a shit about you, when you do something new, it helps you break the barrier of the imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome basically means that you always feel that you're not good enough to do a particular something. To get out of Protagonist Syndrome, you need to stop giving a shit about others' thoughts and opinions of you and put your focus on things that really matter. Allow me to reference this book. The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F***. The desire for a positive experience is itself a negative experience, and paradoxically, the acceptance of one's negative experiences is itself a positive experience. Suppose you open the bakery and you're looking at the reviews online of your store. Obviously, you want all of the reviews to be very positive for a good business, but there's always going to be this one wanker who gives you a 1 star and says that you are trash. Now, when you want all of your reviews to be positive and well receiving, that one review with a 1 star will hit you hard because 1, you're not prepared for it, and 2, you didn't want to have it in the first place. The desire for a complete positive experience is itself a negative experience, as when the inconvenience comes, and it will hit you hard. But if you were to mentally prepare yourself that there's always going to be that one wanker who will give you the 1 star, and instead put your focus on baking better, you could bring your 3-star reviews to a 4.5. The acceptance of a negative experience is paradoxically a positive experience. Now, understandably, there will be emotions that come into play. You'll feel sadness, you'll feel anger, you'll feel hopelessness when there's a failure, but it's important to look at this from a practical standpoint. Let's say you stub your toe on the side of your bed and your toe is in a shit ton of pain. It's just your body telling you that, hey idiot, there's a bed here, don't walk too fast when you're close to it. Similarly, let's say in business, when you encounter a failure and you feel like shit, you're full of hopelessness, it's important to realize that it's just your mind telling you that, hey, this didn't work, we'll try something else. We are all unique human beings. We like to tell ourselves that we are special and that we are worth it. Of course you are, but isn't telling yourself that you're unique in itself paradoxical? Because how can you be unique if 7 billion other people are also unique? Doesn't that make being unique normal? To be a protagonist in this world doesn't really mean reveling over the glory of being different. It just means being comfortable being different. See you, champs. Goodbye. Hi, I hope you enjoyed this episode about the Protagonist Syndrome. It's a very abstract concept. It took me a while to wrap my head around it as well, and try and distill it into a video that's understandable for everyone to watch and to also apply it into their own lives. I don't know. I have quite a bit of free time, and I like to think about all this stuff when I'm alone in army. So I'll probably do a few more of this kind of episodes. So if you're bored of this kind of stuff, too bad. Alright, bye. Thank you for watching.